Well, regular listeners of this show know that I'm a value guy. I'm all about value. Gain the most out of a good guitar, a well-priced amp. I love those. Or adding some small tweaks that make your playing feel like a big upgrade, right? Easier is better. Octaves are one of those hidden upgrades. They don't cost a dime, but once you start using them, your riffs sound fuller, your melodies cut clear, and your bass lines lock in with real authority. This week on Guitar Nerd, we're diving into octaves, how to find them, why they matter, how to use them in your music, and finding simple ways to level up your sound. Sound good? Let's get nerdy. I'm Andy Schneider, career musician turned guitar coach, producer, and author of hundreds of books for my publishing company, Seeing Music Books. I was a high school band nerd, then a devoted jazz guy, and then a backing musician for great artists in every type of music. From Austin to Nashville to New York City, I've learned from my musical experiences and the great musicians that were there with me. I'm a self-taught guitarist, but I was lucky enough to get the right bits of education early on in my career. Pairing that with the many conversations I've shared with more experienced musicians put me on the path to success, a path that built my skills to become the experienced, confident musician audiences enjoy today. I created the Guitar Nerd podcast to give you simple steps to building and growing your musical knowledge, having greater abilities, and getting that amazing music that's inside of you out and into the world where we can all enjoy it. Whether you're a beginner or an experienced guitar or bass player, if you want to make fantastic music, you're in the right place, my friend. Now, let's get nerdy. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome to Guitar Nerd. My name is Andy Schneider. This is the place to talk about all the nerdy stuff that you ever wanted to ask a question about. Whatever level you're at, maybe you're a Jedi, maybe you are Obi-Wan with a bass guitar, or maybe it's your first week, or maybe you're thinking about starting guitar. All of y'all, welcome all y'all. Whether you're new to playing or have lots of experience, you're going to find something here this week to energize your music. We're going to talk about octaves. One of the coolest things about the guitar is that we can play more than one note at a time. Think about that. It shouldn't be taken for granted. Not every instrument can play more than one note at a time, right? Saxophone, one note at a time. Trombone, one note at a time, generally, right? But we guitar players and piano players, they get to do it. There's a few others, but we get to enjoy playing a couple at a time. And one of the coolest intervals to play is the octave. It's easy to do, and if you haven't introduced octaves to your music, boy, you're missing out. I'm going to explain exactly how to get into it, okay? Hey, last week was the episode Never Surrender. Never surrender, exclamation point, because that's how I feel about it. In every guitar or bassist life comes many opportunities to quit. You hear those voices in your head saying, I am just not getting it. I guess I'm just not cut out to be a great bass player or guitar player. And the difference between the people that put the instrument down and walked away and those that went on to great things is that the ones that went on to play great music didn't listen to that voice. The same moment happens to everybody. So my message to you is never listen to that voice. Never quit. Never surrender. Even if you're walking into a brick wall in your progress, that's okay. We all do that. You will find a way around that wall. Okay? Go check out last week's episode. It's episode 32 of Guitar Nerd. I think it's probably the most important episode yet because that's the one that stops more good music from happening than anything else. That's the obstacle that ends more music careers than anything. So never surrender. Go check out episode 32 and keep practicing. Never listen to those negative voices. This week, we're talking about the very impactful use of octaves, how to enhance your playing. I am a value guy, as I mentioned at the top of the show. I like a good cheap guitar because you can make great music on it. And there's something about it that it just warms up my heart, so it warms up my music. I like an inexpensive amp. I mean, I like the fancy, nice stuff too, but I'm a value guy at heart, and I really love leveling up my music, adding something almost for nothing. And that's what I'm going to show you how to do in your melodies, in your solos. Everybody's got to create a melody and a solo, and we want to be better and more interesting for the audience. Octaves are a super easy way to do that. So I'm going to show you. If you've never used octaves, I'm going to show you exactly how. And even if you're driving along, I know that I can put this picture in your mind. You'll go home and you'll have it immediately, okay? All right, let's get going. An octave is the distance between one musical pitch and another with the same note name. But it's higher or it's lower in pitch, but they're an octave distance apart. The name comes from 8 notes, right? C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and then C again is the octave. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. There's a C major scale. It begins and ends on C. Okay, pretty easy. It's one of the most fundamental concepts in music, and it's incredibly useful for both guitar and bass players. Octaves can make a simple melody sound rich and full. They're easier to find on your instrument than you might think. Instead of just talking about octaves, I'm going to demonstrate. I brought my trusty acoustic, my old Silvertone. Talk about a value guitar. I got this one for $150. I think it's a 1957 Silvertone hollow body. Yeah, an old archtop. Let's check out this octave G. Hear how those two notes sound so good together? In fact, they sound like the same note. Well, they are. They're the same note. They're both named G. It's just that they're in 2 different registers, we say. They're an octave apart. Playing them together is a lot of fun, and it sounds really big and full. So if you've never played an octave before, start with me. Grab your trusty instrument, and whether you're a guitar or a bass player, follow these instructions. On the lowest string, the E string, low E, go 3 frets up. Go to the 3rd fret. That's G. 3 frets up on the lowest string. Bass players, you too. Okay, that's G. Now, move over 2 strings. So not the lowest string, not the one next to it, that's A, but the next one, that's D. That's the D string, okay? And on the D string, I want you to use your little pinky. So you're playing the first note with your first finger. That's low G. And now with your pinky finger on that string, on the D string, I want you to play the 5th fret. Should be right there where your pinky is. Should be the easiest thing in the world to add. The lowest note. And now skipping over 2 strings to the D string and playing the 5th fret with your pinky. Again, low and high. It's a great bit of pick exercise to cleanly articulate those 2 notes too, because you've got to skip the one in the middle, right? Well, that's your first octave, G and G. Now, here's the great thing. That little pattern that you're playing, you've noticed that your first and pinky finger are 2 strings apart, right? There's 1 unused string in between those 2. Your first and pinky finger are 2 strings apart and also 2 frets apart. Think 2 over and 2 up. Now, keeping your hand just like that, relax it, and move both fingers up exactly 1 fret, okay? So the lowest note is no longer, but it's going to be this one. I moved it up 1 fret. And likewise, my pinky finger is going to move up 1 fret as well. G sharp. It's also an octave of the note G sharp. Go again. Move both fingers up exactly 1 fret. Pretty easy, right? 2 strings over, 2 frets up. Let's review. Here's the G, G sharp, and A. Isn't that cool? Sounds really fun, and it's really fun to play. Now here's the great thing. Keep those fingers, again, 2 strings over, 2 frets up, and put them anywhere up and down your neck. Anywhere. Just pick someplace blindly at random. Someplace way up the neck. That's great. Go again. Hear how they're all octaves? They're always going to be an octave. Now that's a very cool little bit of value that I can add to embellish a solo. Why, if my melody was something like, now I can play it as an octave. Same hand position, just moving it up the neck a couple of frets each time. It's not something for nothing, but it's pretty close to nothing. It's a very little amount of effort that it takes to embellish and really make a neat sounding solo. Now here's something else to try. After you've become comfortable with playing octaves, try playing them together. It's called a double stop when you play 2 notes at the same time. So as you heard me do in my little melody here, I'm playing 2 notes at the same time. Now this is a little bit tricky. If you're not ready to do it, that's okay, because the goal here is that you're going to be playing the low note, 3rd fret on the lowest string E, and also 5th fret on the D string. And if you're using a pick, I want you to downstroke and make sure that your first finger, the one that's on the 3rd fret, is arched high enough that it's only pushing down on that 3rd fret, on the low E string, right? Because we don't want to hear the A string at all here. What we're doing is we're fretting on the low G and the high G. And it's kind of a little trick that as we glide the pick over in a downstroke motion, we are hitting the A string, the one in the middle. But because my finger isn't pressing down firmly to get that fretted note, we shouldn't hear a pitch come from it, right? If you hear this, oops, that's not right. That's 3 notes all at the same time because my fingering is sloppy. Bad. That's all just bad. Make sure you arch that first finger so it's coming straight down on the fretboard. And after you get good at doing that so that you're striking 3 strings but only hearing the 1st and the 3rd, then you're ready to move it into that melody that I just showed you. And then you're going to be off making some awesome octave melodies all week. Well, if you're enjoying this week's introduction to octaves, you'll want to check out my book, Guitar Theory Nuts and Bolts. There's also a bass guitar version called Bass Guitar Theory Nuts and Bolts, right? And these books take the mystery out of music theory. They show you octaves. They show you a lot more than that, how to apply it and connect it directly to your fretboard. Whether you're on a guitar or a bass, you'll see how octaves, scales, chords are all related. You can use that knowledge to then unlock new grooves or riffs or solos. What sets these books apart is the practical approach. Clear diagrams, easy examples, and lots of exercises you can use right away in your practice. It's not just theory on paper that's out in space. It's theory that gets you playing. Theory for your fretboard. So if you're ready to go deeper than today's octave lesson, grab a copy of Guitar Theory Nuts and Bolts or Bass Guitar Theory Nuts and Bolts. And by the way, I've made them for left-handed players as well. There's a left-handed Guitar Theory Nuts and Bolts, left-handed Bass Guitar Theory Nuts and Bolts, because it's just so much easier when you're a lefty to look at chord examples or scales that you don't have to transpose in your head. That's no fun. Don't know how you guys do that. That's why I try to make every book that I can for both righties and lefties. Bass Guitar Theory Nuts and Bolts and Guitar Theory Nuts and Bolts. They're at seeingmusicbooks.com. And in fact, if you're into ebooks, you can download a copy right now today. Yeah, that's seeingmusicbooks.com. This is the part of the show where we got to get our nerd out. We're going to take this thing out to the next level. Is that okay? If you're used to playing octaves, maybe you want to spice things up a little bit more. I've got some ideas how to use them creatively. You heard me playing double stops, right? Where we play the octave together. Well, how about if you take that and blow it apart? Don't play them at the same time, but shift that octave of your melody. Once you're comfortable finding octaves, start experimenting by shifting parts of your melody up or down an octave. You can either do this with the whole solo or whole melody, or just little parts of it to spice things up. So you try playing a simple melody and then play it again in an octave higher and lower. Notice how the character of the melody changes. It's a lot of spice for not a lot of effort. Let me show you what I mean. Here it's the same melody, just an octave apart. Let's try a different one. Ooh, a little call and response. I changed up the rhythm a little bit. Same notes, each one octave apart from the others. If I were to play them at the same time. Hey, that's kind of fun. Shifting the octave of your melody really brings a lot of pizzazz, a lot of interest to what otherwise would have been just a nice, simple, but unadorned melody. There's also such a thing as a double octave. Oh, this is a great one that really energizes crowds. Double octave is exactly what you think it is. It's 2 octaves. Can we really reach 2 octaves on a guitar? Of course, and it's dead simple. For every note on the low E string, now this is only applying to my guitar playing people out there. Sorry, bass players, unless you've got a big bass 6, you're probably going to have to sit this one out. But imagine you're on a guitar. I'm at the 3rd fret, a G. Same place we started before. I'm starting on G. And now at the 3rd fret of the highest string, I play a high G. Isn't that cool? Totally different flavor from the standard octave. Double octaves. Double the awesome. Well, whether you're playing double stop octaves or splitting your melody into different octaves or even playing the awesome double octave, they're a versatile tool for both guitar and bass players, providing a very simple way to add depth and a lot of interest to your music. Classic examples. No discussion of guitar playing octaves should ever be complete without mentioning Wes Montgomery. Wes almost made a career out of using octaves to create and craft his melodies, and it's absolutely beautiful. If you haven't, please check out the wonderful 1960s recordings of Wes Montgomery. Also, noted for octaves in a modern age, pianist Norah Jones. Yeah, Norah Jones' wonderful music is easily identified not only by her beautiful voice, but by her use of octaves when she states the melody, taking the melody usually as a solo. So she's using right-hand octaves often, and it adds a very haunting and identifiable flavor. Much like that Wes Montgomery used decades before, Norah's use of it on the piano is something that we should all learn from. Thank you, everybody who's been subscribing to this podcast. I love seeing the numbers grow every week. Love you very much. Thanks for having fun learning music with me. Next week, it's part 3 of a series, Walking Basslines. Part 3 of Walking Basslines. Yeah, we're going to get crazy with them and really start to embellish and kind of connect the dots that are a good bass line. Oh, this is going to be really nice, and it's going to help add a whole lot of polish and excitement to your bass lines. Whether you're a guitar player or a bass player, you don't want to miss this because bass lines are for everybody. You've got great music inside of you. Let's get it out. I say it every week because I mean it every week. The world needs your music. Let's get it into the world for everybody to hear. You can do this one little octave at a time, one little double octave at a time, one improved bass part or solo. And there you have it. You're making great music that everyone's going to nod their head to and agree they like what's inside of you. Experiment with octaves this week and see how they change your sound. Take another look and listen at your favorite guitarists and bassists, and I will bet you will hear examples of them using octaves in their music. Until next time, have a great nerdy week. I'm Andy Schneider, and you've been listening to Guitar Nerd.